Welcome to this second episode of Compare and Contrast. For this one, I've had the help of a professional coach, someone who knows what he's talking about, and I think you're gonna be able to tell the difference, I hope. And he's Carlos Cabrera. He's from Spain, but he makes a living coaching climbing in Sweden. And this week we have two superstars once again, so let's begin. The first climber is gonna be Jan Hojer, born in Germany in 1992. And according to Wikipedia, he's 1 meter and 88 centimeters tall, and his weight is 77 kilos. He's clearly one of the tallest and heaviest climbers doing the World Cups. The other climber is McColl, Canadian, born in 1987, so some 4.5 years younger. He's also much shorter, about 19 centimeters shorter, and much lighter, 17 kilos lighter, according to Wikipedia. And let's begin watching Hojer climb the problem. I'm gonna shut my mouth and just pay attention to what he does.
All right, good job there. So much going on in these GoPro Mountain Games. Make sure you pick up the official program.
That was a flash. This was his first attempt, and he climbed the problem in about 33 seconds, using more or less 9 hand moves and 7 foot placements on holds. Now let's see what McColl did. McColl also flashed the problem. He climbed it in 32 seconds, so about a second faster than Jan Hojer. He used between 10 and 11 hand moves, depending on how you count them, and he did a couple of foot placements more, 9 foot placements on holds. Now let's see them side by side. First of all, the starting position is pretty much exactly the same, and the first couple of moves are identical as well. You just grab the first hold. Sean is climbing a little bit faster, and they jump to that first slopey pinch, and here's where the difference begins. Jan is gonna keep that full hold there, just stopping for a second on the other big pinch and going straight to the bonus. But Sean is gonna do something quite different. Initially, he also places the right foothold. He then grabs the second pinch, but then he reconsiders and changes to the left foothold. For a second, he considers using that foothold on the left, but he finally goes to the bonus using the left foothold. Now, why that difference? I think the reason is that Jan Hojer is much taller than McColl. Take a look at how low Jan Hojer's body is in relation to the pinches. Grabbing a wide pinch like that is much easier if you are more or less below the hold. If you can grab it with more or less a straight arm without extending your wrist. Pinching with a extended wrist is super difficult. I mean, if you try it at home, it's almost impossible. Take a look at how Jan initiated and finished the move. His elbow is always really low beneath the pinch. This allows him to really pinch hard and get a lot of friction from that hold. And he can keep his elbow tucked against his body because his hips are still quite low in relation to the hold. If we take a look at McColl's finishing position in this move, his elbow is already more or less at the same height as the hold. Any higher than that and pinching that hold will be really, really difficult. If you imagine this same position but with his right foot on the foothold, you can imagine that there's not enough space to keep that shoulder tucked against the body and below the hold. His hips are much higher, much closer to the hold, and with his right foot on the previous hold, his shoulder will be much higher. He would need that space for his hips and his knee. So it would be really hard for Sean McColl to do this move with his right foot on the previous foothold. For Jan it's possible because he doesn't have to raise his hips so much. His elbow is still way lower in relation to the pinch. The bonus hold was a relatively good crimp, and they're gonna have to pull really hard on that hold. Luckily for them, these two climbers are some of the strongest out there, and they're gonna make good use of that crimp to get enough height to be able to use that wide hold, which is a really bad undercling, a sort of really wide pinch. It's really hard to use from below. You have to get high enough on the wall. And yeah, let's see how they did it. After grabbing the bonus, Jan immediately places that left foot, and that foothold is not going to be used by Sean McColl at any point. He took a look at it before, and I think he decided, okay, that's too far away for me. Sean is going to do something quite different. He first goes straight to that undercling, but he realizes, okay, this is too hard. This is almost impossible to grab from this position. So he considers for a moment that left foothold, but he probably decides, okay, this is too low for me. So he goes back again at the undercling and doing almost a double Gaston, pressing hard to the sides. He raises his left foot to the lower pinch. He immediately also places the right foothold, and then he starts to press hard to the right using that right foothold. Getting into this position will be super hard for Jan because, well, his body is much bigger and those handholds and footholds are way closer. So Jan is going to do something different. Instead of just trying to tuck his body in that tiny space, he first places his right foothold on the outside of the pinch and pulls really hard with the left hand and with that right foot. He's still grabbing the pinch with the right hand and pulling his body towards the wall to try to keep his hips as close to the wall as possible. Because he has already decided, probably while he was visualizing the problem, that he's gonna try to go straight to that wide pinch, the second to last hold. He gets in that position, but probably realizes that he doesn't have enough momentum to get there, so he stops for a second on that undercling. Meanwhile, Sean is trying to figure out how to get to that wide pinch as well. And his solution is quite different to the one that Jan is about to use. He's gonna match on the undercling, which is not easy at all. That hold is pretty bad, and Sean's solution is to put the right foot on the lower pinch and press to the right as hard as he can, trying to make that undercling slopey pinch as good as possible. So at this point, his entire body is trying to press to the right, both his feet and his left hand, trying to get enough friction on that wide undercling pinch. And once he feels that, okay, this is good enough, and I mean, Sean McColl is super strong. Matching that hole is not easy. He manages to stay there with just one hand for a split second, and he matches. And at this point, things are looking pretty good for Sean, because from this position alone, it's gonna be much simpler to get to that second to last hold. And the reason why this move is simpler to do than what Jan is gonna have to do in a second is because the holds are more or less forming a straight line. This means that it's enough for Sean to pull with his hands and push with the feet, and more or less he's there. But if you take a look at the situation with Jan, the holds that Jan is using, they form more or less a perpendicular line to the direction in which he's gonna be moving in a second. He has to move to the top right of the screen, but the rotational axis that those holds form is perpendicular to that direction. So he's gonna need to create a lot of sideways force, which is not that easy. It's much easier to move in the direction of the axis. If you compare that to the move to get to the bonus, in this case for both climbers, the holds were in the same straight line. The foothold, the handholds, and the bonus hold, they were all in the same line. So just pushing and pulling straight ahead was enough. No additional forces were necessary. But here Jan is gonna need a lot of perpendicular force to get to that second to last hold. And how is he gonna do that? First of all, the moment he puts his right foot on the pinch, he presses hard with the left foot. This is the only hold that is in the same axis as the second to last hold. So pressing hard on that one helps a lot. Then he's gonna pull hard with the right hand and the right foothold. This allows him to get really close to the wall. He stops for a second on that white undercling pinch. He just stops there, but I don't think he really uses that hold too much. Perhaps just to pinch it a little bit and stay close to the wall. But he immediately initiates the move again. He lowers his body, and this allows him to press once again with the left foot to get some force to the right. And obviously he pulls really hard with the left hand. At the same time, he pulls his hips towards the wall, and this is enough for him to reach really quickly and grab that hold, making good use of his body size. But at this point, he's in a much more precarious position. Given his size, using the bonus as a foothold would be much harder than it's going to be for Sean. Sean is going to do that in a second. He's going to place his left foot on the bonus hold. But for Jan, that's probably much harder given his size. What he does is he more or less sandwiches the pinches, pressing with one foot and pulling with the other. And he lowers his body to put a lot of weight on that right hand hold. This allows him to release the bonus and grab the undercling as a proper undercling. He takes a look at the top and he decides to go for it using the red pinch as a foothold. A riskier solution than the one that Sean McColl uses, but perhaps a little bit more comfortable for Jan given his body size. What Sean is going to do is to place his left foot on the bonus, but given his position after grabbing the second to last hold, this is really easy for him. And once again, he's just going in the same direction as the line that the holds he's using form. It's just a matter of pulling with the right hand and pushing with the left foot, and he's there. The foothold that Jan is using for this last move is much riskier than the bonus that Sean used. He turns his entire body to the right, crosses, and well, that's good enough for him, and he matches without cutting his feet. And that's it, a flash for both of them. So, did you like this episode? I hope you did. I'm looking forward to your comments. Last time your comments were great, a lot of really interesting ideas, so let me know what differences you see, perhaps something that I missed, perhaps something that I got wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. And yeah, put all that in the comments. I will be reading and responding to as many as I can. If you like the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you're new here and you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. And for those of you who asked me where can you get a t-shirt like this one, you can go to onbouldering.com/shop. And in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and take care.